The U.S. Coast Guard C5I Service Center specializes in delivering mission-critical, modernizing software applications on extreme implementation timeframes through the APLES II contract. But what's the operational value achieved by rapid development schedules? How are Synergy's game-changing 100-day MVPs accomplished with quality and hyper-attention to user experience? Our discussion with Synergy's Marshall Demerit, Nathaniel McKenzie, and APLES II Program Director Jake Stone. Next on the Synovation Showcase. We've had a chance earlier today to talk about rapid delivery, accelerated timeframes. Lay out for us maybe why that is now more important than it's ever been.
Yeah, absolutely. So we put into place a MVP and 100-day approach. So that's one of the ways that we're innovating our approach to software development. But there's a lot that goes behind that too. So we can't just say, hey, Nate, do MVP in 100 days, right? He's also got to have the structure, the process, so there's a lot that we've been doing to try to ensure that our project teams are all moving in the same direction, and we're all singing the same sheet of music, so that everybody is moving forward together, and that's where we're getting that a lot of that innovation just by default.
There is emphasis on this MVP, and we were talking about it, Nate, as well. A lot of folks talk about minimum viable product. Very few people put a time frame that looks like 100 days on that.
Yeah, I think, Marshall, you sort of said it interestingly, like I could just tell Nate to do it and it's not going to be successful, but that's what a lot of groups try to do, is just say, oh, well, we're going to be agile, or we're going to do an MVP, or we're going to implement DevSecOps. And it's without the change management and all the different pieces of, different components of infrastructure, project management infrastructure, technical infrastructure, all those different components, even sometimes contracting infrastructure that are necessary to have a team move that quickly. And without those pieces, you can say it, but it's not going to happen. And we see that we've learned the lessons over time.
Yeah, well, and speaking to the infrastructure, there's a lot of people, and you even mentioned some of the platforms, but there's a lot of people that might be like, well, with the low-code application, it's pretty easy to hit a 100-day MVP, right? But with this, we've been able to do it with low-code applications and custom development applications. And so it's, you focus, or what you measure, you obtain, and so we put in a lot of those processes, but how was it on the other end of it, right? Like, we can talk about the process.
Speed gets the headlines. Yeah. 100 days gets the headlines. How do you deal with ensuring quality in that time frame? How is that done?
So I think there's two different sides to it. There's the technical piece, like Marshall and Jake have been talking about with the infrastructure and processes, but then there's also the human component. You need to get buy-in from your team. We are living and breathing agile. If something isn't working, we're quick to communicate it and course correct. There's a lot of trust that gets developed in a situation like this as well. Jake and Marshall have to trust that they've got the right team in place to tackle a challenge like this, and that it goes from the top down. There's trust at every level, that we can be open and honest and in a safe space with each other to communicate our challenges and where we see things aren't working, so we can get better.
Characterize the interaction with the customer during these kinds of rapid delivery schedules. How important is that? Why does that matter? And how willing are they to engage on the frequency that's necessary?
So I think that's something that's often overlooked in most organizations. It is a big ask from the customer as well. When you condense your timeline down to 100 days, you're asking them for a bigger commitment. You need answers quickly. Otherwise, a day delay, it's 1% of your timeline already. If you delay a week, it's a significant impact. So you are working much more closely with the customer, asking for bigger overall commitment. So there's a balance there. You have to figure out a cadence and a timing that works for both you and the customer. We found short, quick meetings that have an agenda that are to the point, and when we're done, cut people loose. it didn't put too much of a burden on everyone, and we had pretty good attendance rates based off of that strategy.
Let's go to the portfolio, because you do manage a spectrum of projects under the contract. Nate just mentioned, bringing folks together, for a very rapid effort, and then the dispersion that occurs after that. What are some of the idiosyncrasies about the portfolio in these rapid development projects? How do folks and your team react to the kinds of stresses that are put upon them, deliver, and then turn right around and I imagine deploy again?
Well, so we've had, it's an excellent question and something that we focus a lot on. You have to have a lot of investment in all levels of your team. Right now we have 13, 14 active projects going on right now, some of them large, some of them small. And it takes a lot of effort to make sure that we're all on the same page about what technologies we're using, innovations that one project is making sure that other projects learn about those processes involved. To make sure that one of the ways that we gain efficiency and are able to deliver quickly is by having all the teams have those fundamental building blocks so that they aren't starting project plans from scratch, that they all have a same general mechanism for doing that. And Marshall has worked with Nate and other project managers and the corresponding teams to sort of develop a structured approach that we can do all of our projects that way. Otherwise, you have the beehive kind of situation where you bang on the beehive and then all the bees just go out in different directions and you're not sure what you're going to get.
Almost a fire drill, something that Marshall
And I think, to that point, we wanted to give our PMs kind of a running start. And so that's what we've done in many ways. We've taken what has worked and lessons learned over the years and things that we've tailored that was appreciated by the government or any customer group. And so we kind of hand that to the PM and say, here's your starting block. Now you take it and make it yours from here, because you also can't hold your PMs in a box, right? You've got to let them be, they're PMs for a reason. They're good at what they do most of the time.
Innovation.
And you want them to innovate too.
Exactly, we want them to innovate. So you can't say stay in your lane, stay in your box, but you can give them the tools to give them a little bit of a leg up. That's what we're doing.
And make sure we all are heading towards the same mission focus, right? I mean, we have to make sure that everybody has the same understanding of what the Coast Guard's mission is for our customer case, what Synergy's mission is, as well as just cultural aspects too, to make sure we all have rough guidelines of how we approach things, both technically, functionally, process-wise. It's all important to make sure that we can do these things quickly.
Well, you're doing some incredible work, and certainly the customer, I'm sure, appreciates it. We've been experiencing some of that feedback, and so appreciate the effort and just the overall emphasis on delivering rapidly and with quality. So appreciate all the things this team is doing and doing for Synergy and the U.S. Coast Guard. So thanks for joining us, Marshall, Nate, and Jake. We will have you back again to talk about new innovations as we go along for the Synovation webcast. I'm Todd Schwartzrock. We'll see you next time.